An update now on the three stranded astronauts, Sunita Minj Eater, Big Bad Baz, and Fred Hedgehog, as Boeing admit cutting cost production due to spending more on assassins this year to take out whistleblowers.
We are working tireless around the clock at Elon's Nan's house to figure out if our balloons are indeed leaking helium. We have sent supplies up to the ISS in an Uber, as even that is more reliable than Boeing.
We're going to go live to our NASA expert now, Mr. Wong. Mr. Wong, thank you for joining us. Now you have since left NASA to run your own chippy called Walk the Fork. Are you looking at? It must have been a shock to get that call from Bubbles the chimp.
Thank you for having me.
So you were the janitor at NASA for a few years. Can you tell us what efforts are being made to return Fred and his crew?
Some really good questions there. You are indeed correct that a helium leak was detected from our main balloon section where we connect the gondola. The gondola is the part that looks exactly like the capsule that Swiss physicist Auguste Piccard traveled to the stratosphere in all them years ago whilst tethered to a high-altitude weather balloon. With the help of my brother, who makes ringtones, we were able to establish a feed and can confirm everyone on board is safe. We're going to get this figured out, but realistically, it's going to be another 8 years. Apparently, there's a Boeing engineer shooting his mouth off about using elastic bands instead of gaskets and how it's not even duct tape holding the spacecraft together. It's sellotape colored black with marker pen.
Sorry to interrupt. I think we may have a live video link to the ISS. Hello, Fred. Can you hear me?
Get me off this fucking space station now!
Rest assured, we are working on it, Fred. At what point did you first realize there was an issue on Starliner, Fred? And have you thought about what you're going to do with your extra time?
I don't want to have to spend another 8 seconds up here, let alone 8 months, you bastards. Now hurry up. This bitch keeps farting her head off inside this little tiny capsule. Could you imagine? It's like being stuck in a portal with Glastonbury. Now I know that Chris Hadfield says that space smells like burnt steak. Well, not when you travel with Sunita, and Baz it certainly doesn't. At first, everything seemed okay when we owned Starliner, but it turns out it should have been called a binliner because it's a piece of shit.
It must have been a huge comfort to learn you now have the expertise of Mr. Wong and his brother working tirelessly to bring you home.
Oh, you've got to be joking, not the fucking Wong brothers. 2 Wongs don't make a white. Especially when, according to the most famous astronaut for NASA, Don Petit, if you have a leak, you have a leak.
What happens if you get a leak on that?
Then you have a leak.
You just have a leak.
And what you would do is...
lose air.
Yeah, you would probably seal the whole cupola off. And then there's probably a plan, I don't know off the top of my head, but there's probably a plan for replacing the mechanism. Might require a spacewalk.
So my question is, how can you operate a lid on the outside of the space station by manipulating something mechanical on the inside of the space station without losing air pressure?
It's called real good engineering.
And some CGI graphics there to show you how it would look if it worked properly. One of the main questions is, what is this patch that is used to seal the leak in the spacecraft?
At NASA and Boeing, the safety of our astronauts is paramount and at the front of our minds, and that's why we choose the more expensive sellotape, which we colored black to look like gaffer tape for extra stability and strength. We tried to use some toothpaste and a tube of fixative that Sunita Minj Eater uses for her false teeth, but unfortunately it wouldn't hold on this occasion.
So how will the astronauts apply this patch?
A special mission is being put together, working closely with Mission Control. Fred will put on his space underpants and crawl along the outside of the space station until he reaches the main balloon. Here he will put his mouth over the leak and then sing a song. If his voice is even squeakier, then we know it's helium, and Fred can then apply the patch.
You can get fucked. I'm only a little hedgehog and I can't fucking swim. So there's no way I'm going out there. Fuck this, I'm gonna jump. Fuck you, Minjita. Whee!